sort of personal and professional, I guess, on Friday because we had a quarterly meeting. And from a professional standpoint, it was great to see everyone, see all the owners get together, and have my managers there as well. And we have just great teams in place. We'll probably get into this later, but having the right people is so important. And I feel like we've got the right people in all four of my studios. So we talked about what are our priorities coming up for the quarter, and just got really excited about it. And then I saw most of my team on Saturday. We had a cookout. We actually had a keg party. So going back to the old days there, and had a lot of fun without the kiddos Saturday night. So that was great as well. So sort of mixing the personal and the professional in a way that it sort of like melds into one at this point too. That one of the core values of the franchise is we treat our customers like family, and I think that that's true of our team as well. So it was great to sort of let loose with a team in a sort of non-studio environment over the weekend. So we had a lot of fun.
Nice. That's a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun.
It is.
It's weird. I saw you on Friday, Bob. I didn't get the invite to the keg party. So,
It must have
well,
bounced. Email must have bounced.
it must have got lost. Yeah, absolutely. Weird. So that's great. That's awesome. I hope you guys all are throwing in your positive focuses, either saying them out loud or making sure that you are, uh, you know, texting them into us or chatting them into us. The next thing I want to get into, guys, is I really want to go over our mission, our vision framework, which our vision framework really is three. It's made up of three different things: our purpose, our core values, and our current mission. Our purpose is to empower women through body transformation. Six simple words that we put together as our purpose. Those simple words are what we do. It's how it dictates every measure of our business. Everything that we do reflects back on, is this helping to empower women through body transformation? And even more so, like by saying that, are we helping women lose 12 to 30 pounds in a short period of time? So creating compelling transformation. Like, these are the things that we have to, every part of the business has to go back and reflect to make sure that it's fulfilling our purpose, or it just wouldn't be what we're doing. It wouldn't make sense for us to continue on. Next part is our core values. What I like to do is I like to just read through these a little bit. I want to make sure you guys really get the chance to hear me say them out loud, because the reason we put these core values out there is because when we put these out there, our goal is to attract people who are have the same core values, people who identify with these core values and live their lives through these core values. And then the other thing it does is that it will repel people who, don't share these same core values. It is not a bad thing they don't share these core values. It just means that they probably wouldn't be successful in this business. So we just put it out there and we let the people know right away that this is who we are. So I'm just going to read through them. I'm not going to get really in depth into them. We can talk more about them during our initial phone call. And I'm sure, Bob may touch on some of this as well later on. We treat our customers like family. We have a passion for health and fitness. I think it goes without saying. We believe in the power of positivity. We wow our customers by exceeding expectations. We check our egos at the door. We are continually learning. We believe in honest, open communication. We believe accountability leads to success, and we love what we do. Now, we take that purpose and those core values, and we're able to kind of come up with our current mission of which is the next part of our vision. And our current mission is to open 500 locations by 2024 by developing the best fitness franchise model in the world. We know that we have one of the best fitness franchise models. We're constantly evolving to make it even better. But right now we're at around 90 locations or 87 locations, and we know that's a hefty task, but we have all the planning put into place, and we have the framework put into place to make this happen in 9 years. And we know for a fact that we can get to 500 locations by 2024 and to help to spread that transformation. To get back to our purpose is to empower women through body transformation. The way we create transformation is through our 4 components of weight training, cardio, nutrition, and accountability. We know that there's great workouts everywhere. There's yoga, there's CrossFit, there's Pilates, there's boot camps, but what we also know is there's transformation nowhere. So we know that in order to get transformation, you need to have these 4 components. You need to have weight training, you need to have cardio, you need to have nutrition, you need to have accountability. If you pull out any of those, it's not going to be successful. To get into a little bit about the 4 components, weight training. The reason we do weight training, well, there's tons of different reasons to do weight training. One of the major reasons is to create lean body mass. By increasing your lean body mass, you increase your resting metabolism. So if you put on 5 extra pounds of muscle, you're burning 200 more calories a day. The other thing you're doing is you're increasing balance. And we have a lot of older women, so that's really important. You're increasing bone density. I know osteoporosis is something that people are concerned about as they age, and that's you want to help to increase your bone density. You're increasing your core. So there's a lot of great things that you're doing by adding weight training, especially the type of weight training we're doing, which is a kind of systematic functional weight training using kettlebells and dumbbells and suspension training to work large muscle groups and create a really big it is interval training as well, so you're really getting the best bang for your buck during the training as well. Cardio. We're doing high intensity interval training. So not just getting on a treadmill and walking for 30 minutes and calling that exercising. What you're doing is we're going to do a high intensity interval. So you're going to be, say if our intervals are 2 minutes and 1 minute, 2 minute you'll be going at a steady state that's just slightly above comfortable. And then for that 1 minute, you're going to go all out. You're going to go at a 10. You're going to go at your absolute maximum. So you can't go, if we paid you $100, you couldn't take one more step after that minute was up. So that's where you want to be. And what that does is it's going to be a calorie burn. It's going to be your major calorie burn. It's going to help burn fat. It's going to create an afterburn effect as well. So after you leave, you'll continue to burn calories, especially if you fuel properly as well afterwards. You're going to continue to burn calories after you work out for a long period of time afterwards. Nutrition. Nutrition is probably the most important component of our 4 components. We don't teach a diet. We don't prescribe diets. We're not registered dietitians. What we do is we teach framework of nutrition, and we give you a blueprint to help follow that framework. 1,300 to 1,600 calories per day, 100 grams of protein minimum. We know that if you eat 100 grams of protein, then you're going to within a 1,300 to 1,600 calorie restricted diet. I shouldn't say that. It's not the right word. But within 1,300 to 1,600 calories, you eat 100 grams of protein, you're going to be getting good, clean food, and it's going to be very difficult for you to eat 1,600 calories worth of funnel cake and get 100 grams of protein at the same time. 8 to 10 glasses of water per day. Eat every 2 to 3 hours. Eat 6 times a day. And you have one free day. And we don't care what you do for that free day. You can go out and do whatever you want. It's none of our business. But what I do know is that as your body starts to change and as you start to eat healthier and cleaner, your body's going to crave less of the garbage. It's not going to want to put, 8 slices of pizza and, and 2 bottles of red wine in every free day. It's going to start changing up, so you're going to start getting, a little bit different of, cravings, and your body's going to want to be cleaner. Then accountability. You got to hold yourself accountable, and the way to hold yourself accountable is us helping to hold you accountable. We do weekly weigh-ins. We have the hard conversations when you lose weight, and then when you gain weight, and when you lose weight, we have the the high fives and the cheers all around. But we really help you manage those behaviors. And we check up on your nutrition blueprint. We check up on we push you on your cardio. We coach your cardio to make sure you're getting the most out of it. And we're pushing you so you're making sure that you're hitting your absolute 10 during your workouts. This is an example of our workout of the week. Like I said, it's a systematic functional weight training program, strength training program using body weight, stability, using suspension trainers. We use barbells, kettlebells. We use some machines, but it's really great. And like I said, it really is going to help with your core. It's going to help with building your your balance and increasing that lean body mass. Next thing I want to get into, guys, is I know that some of you are on today, and some of you are on who are interested in franchise opportunities. Some of you are on who are interested in career opportunities. So that's great. I mean, I want to be able to touch on both sides. And what I can tell you is that make sure you have a ton of questions for Bob, because Bob is about as good as it gets when it comes to hiring, and he knows what he looks for, and he can help to answer all your questions when it comes to, what should you be doing as a person looking to start a career in Get in Shape for Women. And he's also one of our best owners, so you can ask him, what should I be doing, who's looking to start a life as a franchisee. So just to kind of go back on that. The opportunities available for careers are managers. Managers kind of are the backbone of the studio. They run the studio. They schedule the free sessions. They do the sales. They train the trainers. Well, they don't train them, but they put the meetings in place for the trainers, and kind of just are the backbone of everything that goes on in the studio, where the full-time trainer and the part-time trainer are both kind of the heart and soul, the blood pumping through the studio. They are the ones who are executing the 4 components to the 9th degree. They're making sure that everything is being done properly, and it's being done to the absolute maximum that it can possibly be done. And if you want to apply for one of our positions, you can go to our website at getinshapeforwomen.com/careers. There you can apply online. You can submit your resume and your cover letter. You can submit it to any of our studios that we have currently open. Also, you can put it in a desired position, a desired territory, and what that will alert us of is that there's talent in the area. And when franchisees are looking to open up new locations, we'll know that, hey, we have some really great talent in Parker, Colorado. You should really look into opening up a location there. So it gives you that opportunity as well. These are the 17 states that we're currently open in. We are, constantly growing. We're looking for some huge growth down in New York, New Jersey. We have 6 out in California right now. So we have 55 in Mass, which means Mass is basically sold out. So there's tons of opportunity, and you can see where we're going to put those 500 locations. So make sure that you're putting your resumes in. Now, guys, this is where I want to get a little more granular, but I still want to leave time for Bob as well, to make sure that you have enough time to hear Bob's story and also ask him as many questions you'd like to ask him. So let's get into the franchise opportunity a little bit. So this is kind of a flow chart, guys, of what to expect in the next. Oops, sorry about that. Of what to expect in the next couple of weeks and months moving forward as a franchise opportunity. Right now, you're on the webinar. The next thing you'll do is schedule an initial phone call with me. I'll give you both of my information at the end of this call for you to schedule that initial phone call so we can start talking immediately. The next thing you want to do is sign up for Discovery Day. So take out your calendars right now. Circle July 31st, right in that date. Get in Shape for Women Discovery Day, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Get in Shape for Women corporate office, Needham, Mass. Put that right in your calendar right now. Go on your Outlook, go to your at a glance, however you do it, and make sure you put that down, because that's where you want to go. That's your next step after this webinar and the initial phone call. At Discovery Day, when you come, we'll hold some territories for you while you're going through your FTD and going through your disclosure period. After you're done with your FTD, you'll be able to sign your FTD. After you're done with your disclosure period, you'll be able to sign the FTD. At that point right there, we're going to start into the new franchise checklist. We'll start during your disclosure period. We'll also look for locations. So we'll start a site selection process. We'll send out LOIs, which are letter of intent, to all the landlords who are interested. You have the interested where you're interested in the location. We won't do lease negotiation. We can't negotiate your lease for you, but what we can do is guide you through that process and help to make it as easy as possible. We'll start doing some detailed floor plans to make sure that you're getting, you'll know exactly what your studio looks like. We'll help you through the build-out process. We'll give you best practice for hiring your team. You'll come to franchise school where you'll learn soup to nuts, everything there is to know about being a franchisee with Get in Shape for Women. It's a full week at the corporate office, and it is a really, really great tool to learn as much as you can about running this franchise. Then we'll have the grand opening. Shortly after, you'll have your first site visit from our director of support. And then we'll continuously do support throughout the first year and moving forward. Always, you'll always have support from the franchise. You'll look at your first year analysis and you'll look to see if you're ready for your second studio. This is a kind of an idea of when we're open. This is an hours of operation for Get in Shape for Women. We're open Monday through Fridays, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then close from 12 to 4, and we reopen 4 to 8. And then Saturdays we're open 8 to 12. So that's the minimum amount of hours that we're open. And as you start to expand, you'll be able to say, all right, well, I want to open up at 6 a.m. and close at 1 and reopen at 3:30 and close at 8:30 if there's ability for you to fill those time slots so you can start adding in more clients. Maybe you want to open up at 6 a.m. on Saturdays instead of 8 a.m. And there's always that opportunity for you to continue to grow in that. Here's our training options. Here's what you can take a look at our price per session and our price. We're a paid in full model, so on the right-hand column is going to show you the overall pricing, and then the middle column is going to show you how that what the session per price is, the price per session is. Here is a kind of a range of our startup costs. Our startup costs range from $51,000 to $200,000, and the reason we have that is because the build-out could be anywhere from $0 to $50,000, where your landlord could potentially do your build-out for you and just roll it into your rent, or you could potentially have a higher-end build-out that costs you up to $50,000. Additional funds are going to be all those funds that you have to support yourself during your ramp-up period. Equipment, you could be paying a $1,600 lease on your equipment and financing it, or you could pay the $20,000 up front for all the equipment and not take any kind of financing on it. So we give you all those options. That's why there's such a big range. Here is a sample of just a sample of studio expenses, and you can kind of get an idea of rent and utilities. The one thing we're missing out of this graph is the royalty, because that's a weekly royalty, and there's no way for us to kind of measure that without having you put revenue in and us being able to take 6% of the revenue and show you what it looks like. But other than that, you can get an idea of typical studio expenses from a month-to-month basis. Here's an example of our revenue streams. Our new sales, that's kind of like everybody coming in the door from as a lead. All new sales, all paid in full models, that's the big revenue get. The other thing is, the other big one is renewals, and they're basically a new sale, but it's pennies to the dollar for you because you're not spending the marketing. All you're doing is helping them create transformation and renewing them for a new package after the year's up. Upgrades, we allow people to upgrade to a higher package within the first 30 days of their time in Get in Shape for Women, and they can get the prorated price on the package. Protein sales, we do protein sales in all of our studios. And, it's a great opportunity. It's not a ton of revenue, but what it is it's an opportunity to make sure that your women and your studio and your clients are getting all the protein that they need. You're making sure that they're getting that 100 grams of protein, and you can track it to see if they're buying protein. Then they're getting their protein. The protein sales, the protein sales are high. The people are buying their protein, and you're getting transformation because they're taking their protein. And the athletic clothing line is coming soon. It's something we're doing. We're working with a couple companies to create a athletic clothing line that will allow us to have a really high-end Lululemon quality style clothing for our clients, and very discreet Get in Shape for Women marketing to show off and to get some name out there, name recognition as well, brand recognition. This is our financial performance representation. So in franchising, we're governed by the Federal Trade Commission, and they don't allow us to make any sort of earnings claims, but they do allow us to make financial representations on the franchise. And so we're allowed to put in this anything that we want to put in. We could leave this completely blank if we wanted to, or we could put only mature stores or stores that have been open for 5 years. We're allowed to do any of that stuff. What we've done is we put in everybody. All 92 studios open for less than 1 day, for more than 1 day, and you get an idea of where their monthly revenues are, their monthly expenses before operating salary, before manager salary, and then income before manager salary. So you can kind of get an idea of what to look for and what the average is capable of doing in the franchise. Now, what you want to be looking at is this one, because this is who you should be aiming for. You want to be aiming for the top 10% of the franchise, the top 10 studios. And you can see that their average monthly revenues are significantly higher than the average. Their monthly expenses are slightly more before manager salary, but their income is significantly higher as well. So you can get an idea of, these are the people we want to be aiming for. This is the people you should be going, all right, I'm gunning for that #1 spot to go after it. To get into territory selection a little bit, when we pick our territories, we do a fine combination of population and median income. That's how we look at it. So we look through a bunch of different ways, but we actually just start off with Zip Who. It's a free website. You can go on this. You can look at locations for yourself. Go to zipwho.com and then just type in the area you're interested in, and this will help you start to narrow down where you want to put your studio. And you can know that you want to have a median income of, a high median income matched with a high population. So then you have the population there to sign up and be part of the studio, and who has the ability to pay for it as well. Finding a location, finding an actual physical location, we use a litany of sources. LoopNet and CoStar are both great sources of commercial real estate that's available on the internet. Craigslist, there's a ton of options out there. And then I have a great relationship with local real estate brokers, commercial real estate brokers throughout the country who are constantly offering me locations to get in shape for Wilmington. This is a shot from a listing on LoopNet of a spot in Great Neck, New York. Great location. We're looking for parking. We're looking for great anchors. We're looking for, we don't need to be bright lights downtown big city, because we don't need that because we're a destination location. What we do need is great parking, and a great anchor always helps because it just draws more people into the lot. Once we find that location, we're going to start doing some more in-depth demographic research. We have software that and websites that we use to do this demographic research. As you can see, this is Great Neck 1, 2, and 3 mile radius. And then you can see that this is the 3 mile radius for Great Neck, and you can see the population in 2013, and that's 3 miles. You can see the number of households who are making over $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. The median income is all listed right there. You can see it's a really great location to open up a studio. Ton of population, ton of wealth. This is a sample floor plan of one of our studios. This is actually our Santa Rosa studio that we built out last year, and this is just a great example of what you can expect when we show you your floor plan. So you can go in there and walk into Vanilla Shell and know exactly where we're going to put everything and how your studio is going to be built out. Support. I think support in a franchise is the most important thing. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to be a small business owner and an entrepreneur, but have the support of a franchisor to help you through the process. We offer so much support as a franchise. Like I said, we just did the quarterly meeting. We have weekly focus calls that we just got off about an hour ago, or half an hour ago. We do weekly support calls, weekly webinars, monthly coaching calls. We have franchise school. We have trainer training. There's tons and tons of support that we're offering to our franchisees. And I don't know many franchises who offer more support than we do to our franchisees. It's just we give more than you probably ever would want or expect. Part of that support is the business development coaching. So we do a lot of coaching to help you develop your business and to help you grow yourself, not only as a human being, as a business person, but as a a family man or family woman, and however you want to grow. One of our things is helping you grow 10x and helping you believe that you have that ability to grow 10 times who you are today. So we'll go through some exercises of going through, building your own 10x future. So we've done this. I've done this. I'm sure, Bob, you've done this. And what it allows you to do is say, all right, well, right now I'm making this much, and I have this much vacation time, and I have this kind of family and relationship, and I have this kind of health. Where do I want to be to grow myself 10 times? I want to have this much income. I want to have this much vacation time. I want to have these many children, or this kind of relationship with my wife or husband, or what have you. And I want to have my health be the best shape of my life. I want to be, running 5 marathons a year. I want to be, doing CrossFit 10 times a week, or working on the model 6 times a week. There's all these different things that you can put into your this 10x future, but putting it down on paper is the most important thing, because then you're tied into this, and you're realizing that this is a possibility. It's not just a pipe dream, that this is something that you can really do and something that you can really accomplish. Part of that development training as well is we go through a lot of our system. And this is the Get in Shape for Women system, broken down through 12 modules. We're going to help you grow your business through this system, and we do weekly phone calls, quarterly phone calls, monthly phone calls, and the weekly phone call, we go through each module, breaking it down and really making sure that everybody has a strong understanding of the module. Here's a picture of one of our quarterly meetings. This is actually from last year. This is not from last Friday. So you can see great, great turnout, really great opportunities. Kind of a mastermind group of doing roundtables and doing panel discussions and presentations and all these different things to really get the most out of it. Here's our awards. We give out monthly awards. We give out first place trophy, and then we show the top 10 boards. Quarterly first place trophy and top 10. And annual, we give out a first place trophy and top 10 trophies. Also at the annual, we give out the franchisee of the year, which is the first place trophy. And we give out the most improved franchisee, and also the multi-unit franchisee of the year, who will happen to be Bob Kaplan. And there he is in that far left-hand corner, next to the speaker. There's Bob. This is the 2013 top owners. Technology, we're using MindBody Online, which is kind of a CRM for us. It's a way for us to track all the scheduling, to track our packages, to track our clients, to track all of our sales. All go through MindBody Online. So that is a quick overview, guys. I want to give Bob Kaplan some time here. So I want to kind of get into the conversation with Bob. I want to ask him a couple questions. I want to let Bob tell his story, and I want to open the floor up for you to speak with Bob. When I open the floor up for the question and answer, guys, I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to let you talk to Bob one-on-one. I'm going to let you have him answer the questions without having the corporate office be there. So I want it to be a very open and honest conversation. Before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. Initial phone call. I'm going to put this up at the end as well. Here's my information. Write it down. Let's schedule your initial phone call. Discovery Day, like I said before. Get out your calendar. Get out your Outlook. Get out your what have you. Write down, circle the date, July 31st, 10 to 3 at the corporate office. Sign up for Discovery Day. I'll send you an email tonight with all the information to sign up. Just a couple accolades of our franchise. Here's a list of books, guys, that we really suggest have been very instrumental in us becoming, the business we are. It's a really great book for you to take a look at. And now, guys, without further ado, Bob Kaplan, thank you so much for jumping on with us again, Bob. Bob has been a franchisee for a number of years now. He's owned up to 6 studios. He is a multi-unit owner franchisee of the year. Bob, have you won that more than once?
Yeah, I believe last year and the year before, or this year and the year before.
Legit resource, guys. So Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I'll kind of ask some questions, but I want you to talk about yourself. I want you to talk about your studio, and then we can kind of talk for a little bit, and then I'll open the floor up, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so, and you guys can ask as many questions.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's see, a little bit about myself. Let's see, I'm going to back up to graduating high school, getting into college. I didn't think that I wanted to get into, let's say, nutrition and transformation at the time. I actually was a political science major, which sort of tells you that I didn't really know what I wanted to do getting into college. So my freshman year to sophomore year, I stopped playing sports. So I played hockey and lacrosse in high school, and I promptly put on about 30 pounds. So the freshman 15 times 2 in quick order, maybe in about a semester or two. And during that time, or after that time, I had a buddy who started taking me to the gym, and I started working out, and I actually was just going on, doing the treadmill, just doing steady state cardio, trying to work up to running. And as far as nutrition went, I just tried to cut calories, and that didn't seem to be working too well. And then later on, I talked to another one of my friends, and I started getting into weight training. And it's actually very similar to what the model advocates for, which is strength training and doing cardio in an interval type fashion. And I started doing intervals actually around that time, my sophomore year in college. And then I really not only changed just the sort of the caloric content of my diet. It wasn't, just funnel cakes and cutting the calories on that. It was actually improving the quality of the diet. And I saw significant changes just by cutting out certain things and adding certain things and getting more protein in my diet. So I became obsessed with why that would work. And I, sort of from a selfish perspective, I got really into nutrition and training. And then, I sort of started paying it forward where I would help other people get good results. And I started training people, and I started giving nutrition consulting. So I started taking nutrition classes in college, and I graduated with a degree in political science, but I actually had all the requirements for the dietetics program. So I sort of had a double major, but graduated through the life sciences of political science. So that was in 1999. Also during that time, I've been working for my family business. So my grandfather, I sort of had an arranged marriage with my family that I was going to take over or be a key player in the defense contracting business, so manufacturing machinery, which was very different than personal training, exercise physiology, and things like that. But I decided to pursue my passion in helping people, and just instead of just doing it for free, really just doing it for a living. Where I went back to school after I got an MBA for the family business, but also I figured if I was going to get into any business, that would be useful. And then after that, I got a degree in exercise physiology in Las Vegas from 2003 to 2006. So I was very much into the clinical side of things too as well. I loved looking at the data, loved seeing how we could get better results in our athletes and just in the faculty and staff there. And then from there, I moved back to Massachusetts, and I was looking for something to do as far as starting a business or buying an existing business. And I was looking at a few different options, and a great contrast is looking at Get in Shape for Women compared to a big box gym like a Planet Fitness or one of these higher volume locations. And I was actually looking at one of the bigger box gyms, and they were sort of giving me the sales pitch and saying that, your best customer is the one that never shows up. So I don't think it's any secret that that's how these businesses run, where 75 to 80% of a big box gym, nobody shows up, and that's the way they want it to be. And so there's pizza Thursdays or Tuesdays, I forget which day it is. They actually have bagel mornings on one of those days as well, and Tootsie Rolls and things like that. And it's all about how do we keep people here without the focus on fitness. So, literally with some of the commercials where the guy lifts things up and puts them down, they basically show that guy the door, and it's a funny ad, but really what they're saying is that this person who really cares about health, fitness, and transformation is going to be a drain on our business, because he's the one who's going to be asking for new equipment. He's going to be doing the wear and tear in our equipment. And so that was sort of soul crushing, from a passion perspective. From a business model perspective, maybe it looked good. And then I saw Get in Shape for Women. I saw Brian Cook, the CEO, on that was like a CEO Corner TV show where he was being interviewed, and they asked him, what is your ideal client? And he said, our ideal client comes in at least 3 times a week. She's working hard. She's doing the nutrition. She's transforming right before our very eyes. She makes every one of her appointments, and she's a walking, talking billboard for our business. And that definitely rang true, or was music to my ears, as far as something that I really wanted to do. And so I looked into buying a studio. I looked into buying several studios because I wanted to help more people. I'm obsessive about it, and I definitely learned a lot along the way. I bought the 4 studios in 2011, and now it's 2015, and I've learned a lot along the way. But I've also learned that just the core values and the 4 components of the model and focusing on transformation is really the key to success. So that's sort of how I got into this. And since I could take a few questions, I don't know, from you, Dan, and from everyone in the audience as well.
Yeah, so Bob, why don't I start off, and like I said, I'll ask a couple, and then I can hang up and let you guys ask Bob any question you'd like to ask him. Talk about the studios you currently own, and what is your where okay, let's start off this. How many studios do you currently own? Where are they? And what has been the thing that helped you be most successful in these studios?
Okay, so I own 4 studios: Wayland, Weston, Wellesley, and Westford are the 4 studios. And let's see, what helped me become the most successful. I would say that after a while it's really identifying the right people. As far as, I think Dan talked about the model, how you have a manager and a head trainer and a part-time trainer, and that might be it. You might have 3 employees. So really making sure that their focus is aligned with your focus and those core values, so that I think number one, if I'm hiring a trainer, if I'm hiring a manager, I want to know that they care. That's the first thing. So, an easy question for an interview is, why are you here? And that's actually a really good question for a potential client as well, is, why are you here? Why are we talking? And if the answer is anything around, I don't know, like sometimes they say I want to make a career change because it's a passion of mine, and I understand that. Sometimes they just say, I'm looking for something new. I'm looking to cut down on my hours or increase my hours. I'm looking to make more money, or whatever it is. Those are all just red flags out of the get-go. It's got to be something about helping people, or helping people and having fun is really, what we're doing. So that's fundamentally, like, if you have a manager or a trainer who's really there to help people, and they really care, and there might be somewhat of an it factor that's involved too as well, that they're articulate, and that as far as training goes, I would say that they're compassionate and they have a really strong attention to detail. Then you can teach a lot of those things, and the franchise can teach a lot of the things as well. So I'd say to be successful, it comes down to putting the right people on the bus. And there's so few people that it's that double-edged sword where you might be struggling, and as far as maybe you don't have the right people in place. It's a very quick turnaround if you can find that right person, and also you can train that person too as well. So you can train people who care. If they don't care, then it's not a good fit. Sort of like Dan was talking about with the core values. If you have somebody that's looking at a franchise and you don't really want to help people, you don't want to transform people, then there's other things you can do. It's just not going to be a great fit. It's not good for you or the franchise. So similar with somebody who's looking for a job, we really take a really slow, caring process as well. So it's not just a one and done. We're going to interview somebody and hire them on the spot. It's almost always it's a yes, no, maybe, and it's almost always a maybe when we're looking at somebody. And if it's a trainer especially, it's a very special thing with this model as far as the training goes. We want them to watch. We want them to shadow. We want them to train a little bit and make sure that it's a great fit for them too as well, because if they don't love it, then it's not going to be a good fit on either end. So as far as what's made us successful, it's really, I can't be in 4 studios at once. I can't be in 2 studios at once, really. So it's really a matter of, putting people in place that are going to get the job done for you, and it comes down to really caring about the clients that are in your studio.
Bob, I want to touch on one thing. One thing you said was about, you really got into about, I think what you're good at is you're phenomenal at HR. And just to let you guys know, Bob has, I think, at least 3 that I know of, ex-employees who are now Get in Shape Women owners. So you can see the people he's bringing on the bus are people who are in this for the long term, and they want to be, so they've went off and bought their own studios after working for Bob. And one of the things you talked about is, getting people on the bus and making sure they're there for the right reason. I think one of the things that we always have to remember as well as when we're hiring people is that just because somebody doesn't fit into our core values doesn't make them a bad person. In fact, they could be the nicest person in the world. And that's the kind of the swan song that we kind of get lost in, is that this person's so nice and such a good person, but doesn't fit into that core values. And it's okay. You could be their best friend. You can go out for dinner with them, but they're not going to be a good fit for you in your studio. And I think that's important, is that remembering that it would be easy if it was all black and white, and that, when a bad employee walked in, they had a rain cloud over their head, or was wearing a black mask and a black cowboy hat, it'd be just much easier. But I think identifying those and going back and using the tools that have been given, and the tools and the core values to really start aligning those people. And I love the fact that you just ask the question straight up, why are you here? That's important. Now, you never owned a business before you came on to Get in Shape, right, Bob?
No, never like a brick and mortar. I did my own training, so
yeah.
I was sort of a small business owner as far as just doing my services and things like that. But I never had to pay. I'd say I never had to pay rent, but I actually paid rent to the gym that I used, that I worked out of to train. But other than that, no.
So what is how was it coming on? With your franchise support and stuff like that? What did you feel was your the biggest assets and the biggest challenges of coming on as a person who, I get the question I get a lot from a lot of people is, I never owned my own business. How do I run my own business? And I just love for you to kind of talk about that, because you came from that world.
Yeah. Let's see. To be honest, I bought 4 studios at once, so there was a lot of fear involved. Scary. It was scary. It was exciting. I think exciting is sort of a positive and a negative, meaning that you're very excited, so excited that it's can be nerve-wracking at times, but also just a great experience with all the different things going on. So it was a learning curve at the beginning, but what I realized is that so many of the things are in place as far as just with the franchise. So that's one of the reasons why I chose a franchise over trying to start my own business, is that a lot of these things are turnkey operations that you're definitely not by yourself from a couple of standpoints. You've got the franchisor and the corporate that helps you with every aspect of your business. And the great thing about a franchise too is that there's at least now there's over 90 studios that are copying exactly what you're doing and going through the exact same experience that you are. So when I thought, man, I have 4 of these studios, oh my goodness, I thought, well, you know what, headquarters, they've got close to 100 studios. And they're dealing with this, and actually what you realize is that from having more studios, you're getting more information, and it helps to assimilate everything. So with the franchise, when it comes down to, the rent and the lease and everything else like that, they helped put all that stuff together, and I bought existing studios, so in that regard, those things were put in place a little bit easier. As far as the 4 components and the things to do as far as running the business, it's very clear. There's a lot of repetition from the franchise, which is phenomenal. That you just, in the beginning, you're learning, somebody asked me, another owner that wanted to send their manager to franchise school or send a potential manager to franchise school. All managers will take a week where they go to headquarters and go to franchise school where I think it's a 40-hour 9 to 5. And the owner was asking me, is it worth it? And I said, yes. And then I thought, I don't know if I just went to trainer manager school, I don't know if I would remember everything that I learned in that school over the course of 40 hours. The reality is that every week we're repeating a lot of the same themes as far as those 4 components, in addition to looking at your community and culture, looking at client fulfillment, and going into each individual component as far as the weight training, cardio, nutrition, accountability. So from the model perspective, a lot of that stuff just becomes second nature where we almost, it's interesting. I think we get to quarterly meetings and it's like we're speaking a different language because there's so many sort of acronyms and abbreviations and things like that, but everybody knows them so well. I mean, you get up to speed relatively quickly with that stuff too, because you get the 40-hour intensive and then there's a follow-up every week. So at first it was sort of, you jump right into it and I felt really excited, really nervous about it. And then you realize there are people there that are going through the same thing that you are. You're meeting with them either online or in person once a month or once a quarter, and you're going through the same things, and everybody's really supportive and happy to reach out, happy to visit your studio. I had people who visited my studio just to check it out, and I've gone to other people's studios just to see what it's like in there and if there's any little nuggets that I could take for them as well. And then you feel like, you never feel like you're alone. And I think that you may get that feeling sometimes. I have my grandfather who started a lot of businesses and ended up sticking with one, talked about that it can be sort of isolating when you start your own business. And with a franchise, that's the great part, is that, one of the things my grandfather said, he said, find a good partner if you're trying to start a business. Don't just go in alone. So with a franchise, it was really a great fit from that regard. It's like you have a partner that's been there, done that, and they've done it even longer than I have. And I feel like I've been doing this for a while. So I think that's the biggest asset.
Nice. So I'm going to open up the floor here, guys. For you to answer, I ask Bob any questions. There's one thing I like to do, though, when I have these conversations, and I want to put Bob on the spot. As I love to just go back and kind of like hear his, we know his history and all that stuff, but we know his time in the studio. Who's the person? Who's the client? Who's the transformation that stuck with you, that blew your hair back the most? Or not even that it had to be the biggest transformation, but the one that stuck with you the most?
Let's see. Well, being in the Wayland studio, I've managed the studio for the last, 13, 14 months or so. And I live in Wayland, so I spend more time in the Wayland studio. So it's probably going to be in the studio, and it's probably there really are so many, and it's like if you had 10 children, pick your favorite child. I think that would be a challenge because you really do love them all in certain ways. The one that stands out, just when you asked, Dan, is this is relatively recent, and it's actually not a complete transformation yet. It's Jennifer in our studio. She's and I think a lot of times it stands out because in a way it's more challenging. We have plenty of clients that have come in and literally, like on paper, we go through a blueprint with them. Here are the foods to eat. Here's the workout. Here's the intensity that I want to see on the cardio. Here's the intensity I want to see on the weight training. And, it's almost unprecedented where you say you're going to lose about 1 pound per week, and they're really pretty close to losing about 1 pound per week, a little bit more in the beginning. And it's awesome. And that's fantastic to see, and see them transform over the course of whatever their goal is, 6 months, if it's 26 pounds, in the year, if it's about 50 pounds, and that's happened. The one that stands out for me is actually somebody who, at first they were on board and they stumbled a little bit and they had a significant amount of weight to lose, over 100 pounds. And she just, so many times she felt defeated. Like she just felt like, I can't seem to string this together as far as the nutrition goes. There are too many things in my environment that are in the way. The weight training, she could do it, but she said it was too hard to do it at the intensity that she felt like she really needed to. The same thing on the cardio. And one of the reasons why it stands out is because clients will tell you, and you really try to shift this mindset, clients will tell you, I really can't fill in the blank. Like I can't even do a push-up, Bob. Where, you know, you're trying to get me down and do a plank or whatever the case. I can't do a plank. I can't hold a plank for 5 seconds. I can't. There's no way that I can cut out, you know, my glass of wine at night or whatever it is. And through that process with this woman, it's like the last 4 months, every week there's something that she's boasting about or really proud about that is something that she told me that she literally, there's no way that she could do that. I could never do that. That this is what she would tell me about 12 to 16 months ago, or even further along, and now she's just knocking things out of the park. And when you talk about a transformation, she's truly a different person. So she has more confidence. Her demeanor inside the studio has changed. Outside the studio, she says the same thing, and we like to do community events and things like that. You can actually see she's a different person. So it's really, I mean, it really is like an unbelievable thing that, like, you pinch yourself when you know, Dan, when you ask these questions, and then you, like, I have to answer these questions, and I think I get to do this for a living. It really is, it's an incredible, it's such a rewarding thing, and it really is one of those things that, Dan, if we did this Q&A every day, and I wasn't thinking about that you were going to ask me this question, I'd probably have somebody different, you know, just about every day.
So I think the last time we did this, you did have somebody different. So.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, guys, I'm going to open up the floor. We have about 5 minutes to ask any questions to Bob. Please feel free to write any questions. Type them into your to the GoToMeeting thing. Bob will answer. Bob, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'll hang up the phone, guys. And like I said, we'll finish off, you know, Bob, probably around 1 o'clock if that works for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, guys. All right.
Okay, so let's see. So hopefully you guys know how to ask the questions. I think there's a questions box that I see that you can ask questions. Let's see. I don't see any questions yet, but I will hang out until 1 o'clock. So if you have anything on your mind, just let me know. Just type your question into the question box.
Hey, Bob, you still on?
I'm still here.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll end the webinar. I think, did anybody ask any questions? Any good ones? Or
No, I didn't get any questions.
all right. Well, thank you,
You
Bob,
covered
again.
it.
I'll let you continue on your day. Thank you for taking the time out, and hopefully some people can think of some questions. And if they do, I'll make sure that I